Some dolls are not as warm and fuzzy as you may hope. Here are the top 5 haunted dolls that hold curses. Number 5 on this list is Okiku. Okiku is definitely one of the strangest haunted dolls out there and certainly has a unique curse to it. Curious Archive says, according to the story of Okiku, the doll was purchased by a 17-year-old boy named Eikichi Suzuki during a visit to Sapporo for a marine expedition in 1918. The doll was a gift from his travels for his 2-year-old sister named Okiku. In some versions of the story she's called Kikuko. When she was initially purchased, the doll had a hairstyle called okappa, similar to a bob cut, which is popular on Japanese dolls. Okiku loved her new doll and it served as the little girl's companion until she died suddenly from a cold-like illness at the age of 3. Devastated by their loss, Okiku's family put her favorite doll on the household altar where they prayed in memory of Okiku. Before long, the family noticed that the hair on Okiku's doll had begun to grow, as if the hair was on the head of a human. The family concluded that the restless spirit of Okiku, who died so young, was now inside her beloved doll. The doll remained with Okiku's family until 1938 when they moved to Iwamizawa in Hokkaido and gave the doll to the Meniji Temple, where she remains enshrined to this day. She is now referred to as Okiku after her former owner. Some believe the hair that continues to grow from her head is the hair of the child, Okiku. The priest who goes and cuts Okiku's hair says that he receives messages from her. These messages appear to him through dreams. They aren't your typical weird dreams though, they are so detailed and specific that he knows it's the work of the doll. He isn't the only one who receives dreams from this doll either. She sends messages to other people who live in this temple too, however, they aren't nearly as nice. Apparently, some individuals have had her attack them in their dreams. This is very similar to another doll on this list that we'll get to later. Dolls that can target you through your sleep are especially dangerous, as that's when you're most vulnerable. Truly don't know why we keep giving the evil demon haircuts and don't instead just give it a nice little trip to the dump. Number 4 on this list is Robert the Doll. Do not take this thing's picture without its permission. If you do, then bad things are going to be coming pretty soon. The Travel Channel says, Robert came to the Otto family of Key West, Florida in the early 1900s as a gift to their youngest son, Robert Eugene Otto. The boy and doll became inseparable, with the child often laying blame for his misdeeds on the doll. The family alleged that the toy often seemed to change positions of its own accord. They also claimed that when their son was alone in his room, they could hear him conversing with the doll and the doll responding in a completely different voice. After Eugene's death in 1974, Robert was given to the East Martello Museum. Visitors who have taken his picture without permission claim to have experienced terrible misfortune as a result of their transgressions. Robert is surrounded by letters of apology and admiration. These letters of apology are basically last-ditch efforts by people to try and get rid of the curse that befalls them for doing anything that Robert doesn't like. I have no idea if these letters work or not, or if it's case-by-case basis. The only thing that I do know is that most dolls you take a picture of don't require you to later come back to them and beg for forgiveness. The original owner, Robert Eugene Otto, died in 1974, and a lot of people believe that this doll started getting evil after that. It lost its best friend and is now taking its grief out on anyone or anything that comes in contact with it. Best course of action for you? Don't come in contact with it. Number 3 on this list is Lilly. Now residing at Zach Bagans of Ghost Adventures Haunted Museum, Lilly was made during the 1800s in Germany and features real human hair. According to the museum's Facebook post, she was discovered by an antiques dealer who took her home but began having recurring nightmares about a little girl who had a very bad accident. She was subsequently put up for sale at the antique shop. On one occasion, a customer's little girl spoke to the doll for 3 hours, interacting with her like a fellow child. She informed the proprietor that Lilly was a little girl that had been subjected to extreme violence. When first encountering the doll, Baggins reported that he felt an immense energy radiating from the figure. So basically, if you keep this doll, then you will get haunted with countless nightmares. I have no idea how this doll managed to survive this long and somebody hasn't just burned this thing hot. Like, don't get me wrong, I feel bad about what went down in the 1800s. Whichever girl's spirit is haunting this doll, whatever happened to her, it sounds horrible and it never should have happened in the first place. But maybe destroying this doll wouldn't even be a bad thing. Maybe she keeps giving people nightmares so that people will finally feel the need to get rid of her. I obviously don't know, but I'm just guessing that being trapped in a doll for over 200 years probably isn't the best experience. Number 2 on this list is the Shadow Doll. I recently spoke about the Shadow Doll in a video looking at demons that Ed and Lorraine Warren were scared of. It needs to be brought up again though, because any demon that's gonna scare those two people is obviously scary enough to get any of us. Scare Street says, the Warrens' files do not state why this horrible doll was created in the first place. However, they do state that it was used in satanic rituals and it was created by black magic using human and animal bones. It's rumored that if a picture were to be taken of the doll, it would project itself into the dreams of the person who dared to look at it in the eye. However, it's not only a simple dream. The dream would be so intensely nightmarish that the victims would either suffer from a heart attack or forever be frightened of sleep because of the horrifying looking doll. The files even state that there were a few deaths caused by it. The Shadow Doll was later found in an antique shop and oddly enough, a couple purchased it. After the purchase, the couple began to encounter the eeriest of nightmares. They later found out that they were experiencing the same nightmares of the cursed doll and that the husband had scratches all over his back and neck which could only be traced back to the Shadow Doll. How could you ever go to sleep with this thing in your house? Like, falling asleep is basically a death sentence if you've ever interacted with this doll in person. What I want to know is where this thing came from. Like, we know that it was made using black magic, but by who? Was it some sort of witch that created this? A satanic cult? Was it the devil himself or a demon of sorts? Who made this doll and what is its purpose? If we could figure that out, then we might have a better chance at not only understanding this specific doll, but maybe others that are like it. Sadly, I don't think that the Shadow Doll is going to be letting us in on its secrets anytime soon. And finally, number 1 on this list is Letta. As far as looks go, this thing is definitely number 1 on any list of creepy looking things. The Travel Channel says, short for Letta Me Out, Letta is a 200-year-old wooden doll with human hair. He was discovered beneath a house in Wagga Wagga, Australia by his current caretaker, Kerry Walton. Walton told the Warwick Daily News, I reckon he walks in the nighttime. We came in here as a new house and I've never heard so many strange things in my life. He's found scuff marks on the floor of his home as well as objects mysteriously shifted. Walton has brought Letta with him to multiple television interviews and has started an Instagram page dedicated to the doll. Kerry, my guy, what are we doing here, man? Apparently he has said that multiple people have seen this doll move before and it just walks around the house like it owns the damn place. I took a look at the Instagram page that this guy has for his doll and it's just so creepy. Like, the way that this thing looks, I can't possibly imagine having it in my own home. Some people have rumored that Kerry is actually under the control of this doll and that he's brainwashed. A lot of people can't wrap their heads around the fact that someone in their right mind would want to keep and promote something like this, so that's why it's possible he's actually being told to do it by the doll itself. The only people who know for sure though would be Kerry and Letta, I guess. But there you have it, folks. That is our list of the top 5 haunted dolls that hold real curses. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this list and some other haunted dolls that you guys know about. Also, please hit the like and subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog, and I will catch you next time.